everyone. Welcome back to Fear Given and Rethemed. We are your hosts, Casey.
And Sean, and today we are continuing our favorite types of topics, a haunted attraction review. What are we talking about today, Casey?
So today we will talk about our experience at Ripley's Haunted Adventure in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Yeah, it was an experience for sure. Did not make my top 5, but
No, actually, so I didn't know when I was researching when we were coming on our road trip. What was that?
I don't know. So to give context, right now, apparently this whole trip we're just recording in weird places
Yeah.
because it's not going to be fresh when we get home.
No.
So we are in our hotel. We just checked into the Marriott to attend TransWorld
Mm-hmm.
the next few days. So if you hear any weird knocking sounds, it's probably not for us,
No.
but it is definitely for people around us.
Yeah. I mean, it might be us. I don't know. But
Who
anyways,
knows? Hopefully.
so when I was looking at different like haunted houses around the area or whatever, where we were going on our stops, I was really shocked to find that Ripley's, believe it or not, has a haunted adventure,
Yeah.
which is basically their own haunted house that's open year round.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have it. I mean, you might have done the research if they have it anywhere else, but
They do.
okay.
And
So
we'll talk a little bit about that.
the one specifically we went to was in Gatlinburg, right on um, the strip of,
Of all the other stuff.
yeah, of all the other stuff, right across from Mysterious Mansion.
Yep, right across the way, a few
Yep.
streets over. And in this town, Ripley's has what, an aquarium? They have a
Mm-hmm.
regular kind of typical Ripley's that you'd see.
Yeah, they
I've
have
never,
a lot of stuff.
I've never
Actually,
been to a Ripley's aquarium.
I haven't either.
I didn't even know they did spaces like that. That's
No.
cool.
Yeah, they have a lot of
Um,
cool stuff.
So yeah, so what was interesting about this one was to have two different haunted attractions in the same city
Mm-hmm.
that are both open year round. Kind of rare.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have expected Gatlinburg to have catered to that community
I know
that
that's
much.
really strange, but I like it.
Yeah, it was weird, but I'm glad we got the opportunity to go to both.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to the Mysterious Mansion episode, we're trying to kind of standardize how we go through attraction reviews. So we're going to start it out with website ticketing pricing, and then we're going to move on to kind of some background history of the attraction if we're able to find it. We'll move on to Yelp reviews, and then we will finish up for this episode with our scoring criteria with 10 kind of standardized categories, and we'll rank them each 1 to 5 in those categories, and then we'll give kind of our average result. For this one, we don't have any behind the scenes or behind the scares. This is what would you call it? Like a chain, basically.
Yeah, it's one of those like.
We didn't get to speak with the owner.
Yeah, it would kind of
obviously,
like be going to Adventure Landing Haunted
Yeah.
House. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So something like that.
So unfortunately, we don't have that for this episode, but we do have tickets to another attraction while we are here in St. Louis. We probably won't get the opportunity to do behind the scenes with that one either.
No.
But it is a haunt that's been on my list for a while that
I mean,
am
we
just
we
super
could have,
excited.
but it's very
It's
expensive.
extremely expensive, and
So
the
we're
amount
not-
of people probably booked
Oh,
to
yeah.
do that
Yeah.
in this area, you're still not going to get the one-on-one that we would
No,
want.
for sure not.
But we will do a review on it. We just probably won't have the behind the scenes as much, although we might be able to watch some YouTube videos and kind of at least try to condense that information down for everybody that listens here but doesn't have time to watch those videos.
Yeah.
So let me scroll back to my notes.
Okay.
So there's a couple of different summaries we're going to read throughout this. I put them in a few different sections just to kind of keep reiterating what this haunted attraction is going for and why they're here. It was really difficult to find a cohesion among a lot of things. That'll be kind of a recurring theme for this episode, is the lack of cohesion throughout. But we're going to give it a shot, and here we go.
Alrighty.
So the website summary lists Ripley's Haunted Adventure takes haunted houses to the next level. Live actors lurk behind every corner of this creepy renovated mansion, just waiting to welcome you to their home. That high-pitched scream you hear? Yeah, that's you. But remember, you must be at least 6 years old to enter, if you dare. What do you think about that? Do you feel like they adequately described it?
No, not really. I don't, it's an off season.
It is off
So
season. We have to keep that in mind.
I have to keep that in mind when I'm reviewing this because I'm sure during Halloween in October and September and all that, it's probably really amped up and they actually
I hope
like,
so.
yeah,
I do.
but not with our experience. We didn't really feel welcomed into that.
Not particularly.
I didn't
but
really,
not in a themed way. Everything just fell off.
it didn't seem like a mansion.
It wasn't a mansion.
I don't know.
It's a haunted adventure.
No, what it says.
It does say creepy
renovated mansion.
So let me read another summary that they have on a different site. Ripley's Haunted Adventure is a fully immersive haunted house featuring live actors, animatronics, and bone-chilling special effects. Ride a former coffin cage to the top floor and then find your own way out. So, this isn't incorrect.
No, we didn't ride a coffin cage.
We rode an elevator. If you want to call this elevator, we took stairs up.
So that was interesting. We had to walk up to the haunted house in the staircase. And then at the end, we took an elevator down.
Yeah. So maybe they've changed some of the entrance queue.
Maybe.
In recent years. Maybe we were supposed to ride an elevator up.
Maybe it was broken.
Would not surprise me in the slightest.
I mean, but we took it down, so...
Yeah, I don't know.
That's confusing. But anyways, that's an interesting summary.
Yes.
I mean, it's not much else they can really say.
No. We'll read, once we get to the history of the attraction, a larger summary that I don't know where this website got it from. It's a website called cabinsforyou.com.
What?
It seems Gatlinburg or Tennessee specific, but it was really cool, and it gave a lot more details into their summary. So
Gotcha.
We'll save that for then. Do you
Okay.
want to take us through ticket prices?
Sure. So the ticket price is listed as $16.99 for adults and $9.99 for child. Or for children.
Is that about what we paid? I didn't actually look at the receipt.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then $2 for a guide light, but we were not offered that.
It was online.
Also, I don't think we should have, I don't think we would have needed a guide light.
We wouldn't have wanted a guide light.
No.
If we'd have had a kid and the kid wanted a little more comfort, I think I would have probably splurged for the $2 and given them a flashlight or something.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. But yeah, we didn't buy our tickets online. We actually went up to
we did go to a ticket booth.
A ticket booth, yeah.
We'll talk about that a little more when we get into our experience.
Okay, cool.
So the history of the attraction. The very first Ripley's Haunted Adventure opened in Gatlinburg in 1999. So this is allegedly the original conception of what a Ripley's Haunted Adventure would be.
Okay.
The other locations, there are 3 other ones. Actually, there are only 2 others that I'm aware of that are still open. Mm-hmm. So Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, San Antonio, Texas, and then outside of the U.S., Pattaya, Thailand.
What?
Also has one. Yep.
That's
it's the only non-U.S. based Ripley's Haunted Adventure, and the San Antonio location actually closed about 2022.
Oh, was there a reason for closing, or?
I think their only thing that I could find online was that they were making room for other attractions that maybe fit the bill a little more for the clientele that I was walking through.
Gotcha.
So next I'm going to read the summary from cabinsforyou.com.
Okay.
It's kind of lengthy, so bear with me unless you want to read it.
Wow, I just looked at your notes.
It's long, yeah. Yeah, I just finished these notes maybe 10 minutes before we recorded, but I really wanted to record another episode tonight just so we could kind of stay fresh for TransWorld in the morning.
I can read it if you want me to.
Sure. Or if you want to take turns on some of the paragraphs.
Okay, I'll let you know when it's your turn.
Cool.
Stifle your screams and fight the urge to crawl into the fetal position if you hope to make it out of Gatlinburg's scariest haunted house, Ripley's Haunted Adventure. Avoid the screaming prisoners of the insane asylum cells and resist becoming part of the frightening family as you and your fellow thrill seekers take on the multiple floors of nightmares. Hold tight to the hand or shoulders of the person in front of you, because getting lost in Ripley's haunted adventure just may be the scare of a lifetime. Push through fresh body bags and sneak past sleeping corpses as you fight your way through the frightening experience. In 1991, after the abandoned casket manufacturing business had suddenly shut down and the owners disappeared in 1926, Ripley bought the empty, decrepit building to fill it with even more haunting personality than already lurked within its aged walls. Since then, Ripley's Haunted Adventure has scared hundreds of thousands of visitors to the Smoky Mountain region.
Enter the creaking iron elevator and stifle your fears as the door slams behind you. You are left with the not-so-friendly host, who ominously greets you before staring blankly beyond you. As you leave the iron shaft, he will drop a last faint warning or simply leave you to your mounting fears. Inside the deteriorating walls of this abandoned coffin factory, take calm breaths and slow steps as you enter each room filled with new jumps and terrors. The faint sounds of screaming and chainsaws will haunt each moment as you cautiously push forward through this Freddy Krueger-esque nightmare come to life. Walk past the decrepit carpenter preparing a coffin for Ripley's Haunted Adventure's next victim. Work your way through dark hallways and corridors, spattered with fresh blood and creepy crawling cockroaches. Don't stare at the artwork for too long, or more than the eyes will begin to follow you. With a mixed cast of lifelike terrors and actors playing the undead, you and your fellow curious guests are sure to have a frighteningly good time. So the reason I got caught up on Freddy Krueger-esque nightmares is I did a direct copy and paste to read this off.
I assumed you did.
They spelled it Freddy Cougar, as in the animal. So yeah, that caught me off guard. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, that's a good name for
like if you had a big cat, like Carol Baskins.
That, or like a this is clean, but a strip club, or like a nightclub or something.
We have a
Freddy Cougar.
We have a cat named Freddy.
Yeah, we do.
We didn't even name it that. We just, when we got her, she was what is she? She's a...
Well, our friend's daughter named her.
It's an orange cat.
Yeah, she's an orange tabby.
And she is a female, which apparently is rare.
Very rare, yeah. She's my baby.
So yeah, I think that summary gave a little better depiction as to what you're experiencing. Again, the whole concept of this being an abandoned coffee manufacturing facility was completely lost on me. It never dawned on me. I don't remember seeing a casket or a coffin anywhere.
No.
So that's all I've got on the history of the attraction.
All right. Sounds
this
good.
is moving right along.
Cool beans.
All right, now we're going to go into Yelp reviews. And again, I tried to be fair. I tried to give a few 1 stars. I tried to give a few 5 stars. Obviously, you're never going to please everybody.
Right.
There are people that are going to be thrilled just because they're in a haunted attraction. And then there are going to be others that are going to be annoyed that they ever had to go with their family. And then there's us, where we try really hard to give credit where it's due. But then we also want to play that middle ground of, okay, we understand this maybe wasn't done the best from our opinion, just our opinion, but we also want to lead into what we think could have made it better. We've been to a good number of haunted houses, so we want to use that experience as helping us understand what we can do better in our own haunts, home haunts, commercial or otherwise. And we want to give that experience to others and learn from others.
Yeah.
So that's also why we're at TransWorld, is to kind of definitely learn from others, share what we've learned. I feel like in the scheme of things, our experience is nothing compared to the people we're going to meet this week. But
Right.
either way, hoping the
intimidating.
imposter syndrome does not kick in until we go home.
Yeah, it's a little intimidating. But anyways, all right, let's go through the Yelp reviews.
And you remember, what's the rule?
The rule is to act like...
Read it in the voice that you think they would have.
Okay, read it in the voice you think they have.
All right, go ahead. Vanessa R.
Vanessa R. By far the best haunted house we have ever been to. We had so much fun being scared out of our boots. The suspense was intense. 5 out of 5 stars.
Man, Vanessa R. Super country and loved it.
I'm from Gatlinburg, so
apparently.
All right.
Jason S. Where do you think he's from?
Jason. He's probably from
Don't give me any accent I can't do. Maybe don't make it something that's gonna sound racist. Okay, Louisiana will work.
Okay.
So we're just always gonna do country accents.
Yes.
We can do that. We're from the South.
Because I don't know what other accents to do.
Yeah. You're never going to hear us do Asian or
No, I'm sorry.
Indian.
I can't.
No, we're not.
No, I can't
not
do
gonna
that.
cross that bridge.
Nope.
All right. Jason S. says, "It was not what we expected. The children scream and cry instead of having fun. It's basically a funeral. Zombies and terrorizing them. Once you walk in, they are rude and tell you that since you walked through the door, you can't get a refund. The name of the place is misleading. 1 out of 5 stars.
Jeez, Jason did not like them.
He was not happy.
No.
Children screaming and crying, not having fun.
No.
At the very least, even though he gave it 1 out of 5 stars, apparently he realized that it was a funeral facility.
It's basically a funeral.
So he caught more than we did. All right, this is right up your alley. Tiffany S. from Biloxi, Mississippi.
Biloxi, Mississippi.
We have never been to Mississippi, so
we haven't.
Give this a shot. Your best Southern accent.
Oof. Okay, so I enjoy haunted attractions and was excited about experiencing this one. Sadly, I left disappointed. There were only 2 actors in the entire haunt, and the rest was just dark rooms filled with cheap Halloween props and animatronics. I felt like I was walking through the haunted tunnel at a Spirit Halloween store, except no one verbally accosts me for refusing to put my hands on a drunk stranger at Spirit Halloween. 1 out of 5 stars.
So a lot of these reviews said or mentioned that, like, Ripley's told you had to put your hands on the person in front of you, whether you knew them or not. Did they tell you that? Because I was in the very back of the line, so if I was gonna put my hands on anybody's, it would have been yours, shoulders.
Yeah, and you did, and I hated it, and I said, "Get your hands off of me."
Yeah,
that said,
tracks.
Oh, was it the I don't know. Was that the other one?
I probably did it at the other one because Ripley's was a little more open. I remember they said single file.
They did.
It was
weird.
I wasn't a fan of that because I don't know. I didn't like that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm going to switch up, and I'm going to go to the last review.
Okay.
So it's Ted Long 29 from Gulf Breeze, Florida. So I did not do this on purpose, but we had a Gulf Breeze, Florida review from the last episode of Mysterious Mansion. And he did not like Mysterious Mansion.
Okay.
This one, he gives it 5 stars.
Oh, okay. All right, so, Ted Long, 29.
I live for haunted houses, and Ripley's did not disappoint. Came here the other week while vacationing in the area from Florida, and had so much fun. I was so excited to do a haunted house walkthrough in March, I was totally there for it. Superb props and loved the creepy aesthetic. You can't take photos during the walkthrough, so put that phone up and enjoy the haunts. Thank you, Ripley's, for letting me get my spooky fix. Great job. 5 out of 5 stars.
I don't know that Florida people have accents that strong.
Florida has, I think, everybody.
That's true.
Like, they're the melting pot of the melting pot of the U.S.
Yeah.
All right. Last one. Sarah V. Not with an H.
Sarah. I feel like she's probably...
Maybe give, like, a New York accent.
Ooh.
Yeah. Visiting from New York, New Jersey, so like Jersey Shore.
Oh, I'll try.
You can do a Snooki thing.
Okay.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Sarah V, everybody.
This is presented as a fun place for families, but grotesque images and scenes of death and horror were absolutely inappropriate for my 10-year-old. The characters and scenes are from rated R movies. And if I would have known that, I never would have taken my child inside. Wait, I'm mixing up.
You're going right back to country.
I think it is irresponsible and a slap in the face to healthy parenting to claim that this is an appropriate experience for families with children as young as 6. Raise the age limit to 13 or higher, or at least give a Okay, hold on. I am mixing like 3 or 4 different accents in this thing.
Find the accent.
Find the accent. I did like a, what is it?
You went, I don't know where you're
A
going.
Boston accent. Okay, or at least give a real warning that there are scenes and characters likely to be extremely disturbing to children under 13. 1 out of 5 stars.
That was good. At least you got the stars.
Oops, sorry. Stars.
All right, so clearly
That was
all
funny.
across the board, people either loved it or hate it. Almost no 2, 3, or 4 stars on any of the reviews. They're there, but
Right.
they're rare and they're not long enough to read and have fun. All right, so to
Oh, God.
give a general overview about our 10 categories of scoring, we break down theme and story, first impressions, acting, lighting, effects, audio, set design, customer service, merchandise, and overall final thoughts. And then we average the scores at the end and we put it in our list.
Yippers.
All right, so theme and story. I gave it a 1 out of 5. We couldn't do 0 out of 5. I wanted to keep it as at least 1 being the minimum.
Yeah.
So I gave 1 out of 5. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah. So we've talked about it a little bit. I couldn't pick up on any cohesive theme.
Mm-mm.
To me, it felt like they wanted to incorporate every scene
Everything.
they had experienced in any haunt walkthrough.
Right.
Had no regard whether it fit or not. No story to tie them together. I didn't really understand what we were going through.
Yeah, I didn't either. It was kind of like they just put a bunch of animatronics in a room or in multiple rooms and like distressed everything to make it look like a haunted house,
Yeah.
which is, I guess, cool. But
There's
I
a
don't
time and place
really
for that, but if it doesn't
Yeah.
fit, I feel like attractions fall apart whenever there's not a story to tie them together.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the customer doesn't have the story given to them directly or explained fully,
Right.
there at least needs to be something for the designer to go off of to go, yeah, that'll work, or no, maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe we need to update it to this.
Right.
So I think having that story would have been better. I'm really hoping that this house design or attraction design isn't the same in the other 2 still existing locations.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would go in, so like if we went to Myrtle Beach,
Yeah.
I would go and try it. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
for sure.
assume all of them are the same just because of this one experience.
Right. And I would do this again
In a peak season.
in a different season.
Yeah, absolutely. I will rarely, or we will rarely, take an attraction at its number 1 experience and then go, yeah, I'm either not going to do that again or
Yeah, I feel like you
never
have
write it
to at least give them another chance. I
Yeah.
feel like everybody deserves a second.
yeah, because you
chance
have
at
no idea what's
impressions.
going on
Yeah.
in the actors' lives, in the customer service, like really all across the board.
Yeah.
They might just be having a bad day. Could
That's
be
true.
bad management at that time.
Right.
So yeah, to me, a good resolution to fix the story would be take a look at all of your scenes and find what a common trend is, or find a common storyline that you can weave together, and then go, all right, what scenes can't fit that? Cool. Now you only need to update maybe 2 or 3 scenes. And who knows, maybe when they look at it, they may go in a completely different direction and go, no, we really need to rehaul this whole thing.
Yeah.
But either way, I think that it can be resolved, and maybe it was just us being picky. Who knows?
Maybe.
It could have been maybe resolved at the very beginning. Maybe it was part of an intro that we didn't get. Maybe that actor never learned it. Maybe he wasn't ever told it.
Probably. I mean, yeah, those are good points.
All right, so next category is first impressions. What did you give this?
So I gave the first impression a 3 only because I felt bad.
That's fair. All right.
I probably, if I go back, I would probably give it a 2.
That's what I gave it, was a 2. I was really excited for this. And I think, so in this night, we went to Mysterious Mansion first, and then we went to Ripley's.
Yeah.
I think I was already a little tainted because when we were talking to Mysterious Mansion, we asked them, we were honest. We were like, hey, we're going to Ripley's next. What do you guys think? We just want kind of a lay of the land. Do you guys think it's good? Is it bad? And his response was kind of we're not really in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Like, we're not even in the same league.
Right.
And I think it was absolutely right.
Yeah, that's completely correct.
This, just like you mentioned earlier, was more of a adventure landing. But spent so much money on
props. My gosh. The props and animatronics were amazing. I will give them that.
They wasted no cost or no expense on this.
No. They spent a lot of money on this. Which, I mean, they're a chain. They're a chain. They have that money to.
But I don't know how in the world they recoup that and get to break even on this.
I don't know.
So the reason I gave this a 2 was we got paired up with 4 strangers, which is fine. 2 of them seemed like they were more like us, seemed to really enjoy haunted houses. We even talked with them a little bit, and they said they had been to Mysterious Mansion a time or 2. The other 2 that came with them were a bit more preppy, bright clothes. You could tell they were already tensing up just walking up.
Yeah.
So they went to the front. We went to the back. So I think a lot of the scares were predominantly sent to them.
Yeah, probably.
The intro wasn't very eventful. The intro room speech part, that was kind of neat. I know I want you to tell a story about what happened near the end of it, but the entire time I kept expecting somebody to follow us, scene to scene, and it never happened. So to me, I think a resolution to fix the first impression part would have been a more immersive intro.
Yes,
not from the guy after the staircase, but from the guy that we checked in with.
Yeah,
that took us to the door.
Yeah,
like,
he seemed very tired and
he didn't
want to
be
there.
He had makeup and a costume, but he didn't try to be in character. He didn't try to have a monologue. He didn't. I don't know. I just.
It was. He didn't make me excited to go into the house.
Right. He set the bar extremely low.
Yeah.
And it never really spiked up.
Right.
So, tell me about your experience. Because I was behind you and I only heard bits and pieces until we got out.
So the first room that we get into is the intro room or whatever. And it was really nice. It was very, the set design is really, really well done. And we get into this room and it's the intro guy. I don't even know what he said his name was or what he was dressed up as. It was
black and white face paint and a top hat almost.
Yeah, something like that. And so he was telling us to go into the room and he's like, good luck. And then as soon as he said that or whatever, I think it was a pneumatic scare, and it scared me, and so I said Jesus like that. And he's like, he's not here, or Jesus, or no, he said he's not here, and I'm like, yes he is. He's like, nope.
And then just shimmied us into the next room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That was funny.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Anything else you want to add for first impressions?
No, just like I said, I wish it was more, involved, just, I don't know, just better.
More immersive, more in character or something. Yeah, I agree. All right, acting. I think this is one of the few categories that I rated it higher than you did. So I
Yeah.
gave acting a 2 out of 5.
I gave it a 1 because there wasn't like the
So,
guy, I will say the guy about, that said Jesus wasn't there was really good at
mhm,
acting. He did a really, really good job. I think he held that
mhm.
really well. But there was only 3 people involved in the whole thing.
Yeah,
So to
if
me, there
that.
wasn't really any
I don't even know
acting.
if there was a real third. I'm
The
almost
girl,
convinced. Was there a girl? I
yeah,
I thought that was a fever dream.
no, it was a girl. That's all she did though was jump out.
Just that one
Yep.
time? That's annoying.
Mhm.
All right. So, I think the quality of the acting was a 3. I think the quantity of the acting was a 1. So, to me, I split the difference at 2.
Yeah. Okay.
So, um, what I liked and what I thought was going to yield a good experience was the guy at the bottom of the staircase, the one that walked us to the door,
Mhm.
stopped us, and he started out all right. He was like, "All right, everybody against the wall." He didn't really say it
Yeah.
with any real authority. It was just everybody against the wall.
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right, this is okay." Pulled out a radio, made this like half show of it. I have a group coming up. All right, cool.
Mhm.
He said something about the front 2 people, but I couldn't make out what it was. But he singled them out specifically
Oh, I
and
didn't
had
hear
them go
that.
first. I think because they were the only ones not dressed in all black. Who knows?
I think he said something about we've got some victims or something like that.
Yeah, but
I
then
don't
he,
know.
he said something about the first 2, and then it trailed off. So
Mm.
the entire time, what I was consistently frustrated with, aside from the non-cohesive storyline, was I felt like all of the scares were only directed at the first 2 people.
Mhm.
So we're 4 people back from them.
Yeah.
We got almost none of them unless they were guest activated triggers through like sensor beams, floor mats, stuff like that. Um, so it's a little frustrating, but overall,
Yeah.
that's as good as I could do.
I mean, it was a non-peak season, so I get that they don't have.
Yeah, and it's not like there was a line out the door for
No,
this experience.
not at
So
all. We waited like what, 5 minutes?
if that.
Mhm.
So I get it, but I think the actors they did have could have done a better job. Again, especially the one up at the front that introed us in.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our 4th category, lighting. I gave this a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I gave it a 2. I thought it was okay. I don't really remember much of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I do remember, what was it? Was there a strobe room or
There was
not?
a lot of strobe.
That's why I don't like strobe.
Yeah,
If you overly use it,
yeah,
it's just too much.
yeah. We've talked about that in the last episode about when is it a fitting scene to use strobe. Make sure it has a purpose. Make sure it has a place.
Yeah.
Don't just do strobe to do it.
Yeah, I just remembered this. I did like that they had
They did have a spinning
a
vortex.
spinning vortex. That was
So-
really well done.
What I took away from that is something that we've talked with Gainesville Fear Garden about. They had issues getting the vortex approved
Right.
from the fire marshal
Yep.
because they didn't have any fire suppression in this like maybe 6-foot length of walkway. I didn't see anything
Nope.
at Ripley's in this vortex tunnel, and it was a good 10 to 12 feet long at
It was
minimum.
pretty big, yeah.
So I don't know if maybe they're just doing a really good job at hiding it, or if the inspector doesn't care because they're a chain. Maybe they have different liability insurance. I don't know.
Something is up with
I
that.
don't know that
yeah.
I've seen fire suppression in any vortex tunnel, to be completely honest.
No, I guess some places are way more
Strict about.
strict than
yeah.
than others. So I mean,
Yeah, that's possible.
it's
And
just, it is
honestly,
what
I
it is.
haven't always looked for stuff like that.
Right.
It's been only in the last few years that that's been a topic that I would ever even think of.
But I love vortex tunnels. That's like
Yeah.
one of my favorite things.
I would love to build one, like from
Yes.
scratch.
It's so cool.
That'd be cool. So yeah, I had the kind of the same notes about the lighting. I thought it was done well enough, but nothing really noteworthy in a positive or a negative direction.
Yeah.
So moving right along, we're at the halfway point with effects. We both gave this same score, 3 out of 5. Thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, they had a lot of good effects.
Yeah, they're not related to acting. They're not related to the storyline. They're just effects.
Yes. I mean, they spent a pretty penny on...
It's my stomach growling.
Somebody was talking in the background, I think.
Probably.
You can hear, like, everything in the hallways. You can hear a lot.
There's, like, paper walls.
I've done ASMR in a hotel before, and you can literally hear everything.
Do you know what ASMR stands for?
Yeah.
A small Mexican rave. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it, because I like to imagine tiny little tacos with sombreros on, with, like, feet. Almost imagine like the Raisinets.
Yeah.
You know, or no, not the Raisinets. That's a candy.
What?
The California Raisins. Do you remember them? So I like to imagine like their feet with like little boots and then tiny little tacos standing on a table in sombreros with little maracas having this like strobe light rave. That's what I imagine every time you go, yeah, I was doing ASMR. And then I just imagine all these little tacos running around.
That was a really good sound effect.
Thank you.
You should do that in my videos.
I call that the ASMR taco bubbles, as in the bubbles that come from my stomach after I eat Taco Bell tacos.
That's disgusting.
Yep.
But that's
so back
funny.
to effects and not audio. They had a lot of guest activated triggers, step pads, sensors, all of that jazz.
Yeah.
The reason this didn't get higher, even though they invested a ton of money on the effects, is a lot of the props either weren't working or they weren't turned on. Really frustrating when you spend that money and they're not on. Yeah. And I get it. We had that problem with our first home haunt.
That's true.
And the reason we had that problem was because I was so frazzled when people started showing up that I didn't ever pre-plan a check-in walkthrough list, or an opening checklist of what do I need to turn on. But for this past year, I did. Yeah. I went room by room. I knew the switches. I knew the outlets. Yeah. I knew everything that needed to be on before we were show ready.
And maybe some of the stuff wasn't working. And
it's possible.
And they're working on it, but like...
Maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So some of the mechanisms I really enjoyed. The first one that stood out to me was in the initial scene while you were listening to the guy do the intro and all that. Mm-hmm. I was staring at this. It was almost like pews set up in that room. And it reminded me of the pew scene that Halloween Horror Nights did in, oh my gosh, what was that? Blood Moon Offerings or Dark Offerings. And it was this like rocking person in the pew.
Yeah, I thought it was
an actor.
I did too. That was really good.
So the only reason I figured out that it wasn't before we walked by it was they never changed. Right. They rocked with the exact same like linear motion forward and back. So I think knowing how those props work, you don't have to do them at 100% and then 0% in terms of the pneumatic capacity.
Right.
So I think it would be really easy to tweak the program, even on the fly, to do maybe go 100% each way, extended and retracted, maybe 50%, then 75, then 25, then restart the program.
That's a good point. It's a good idea.
It's possible that it wasn't pneumatic and it was just kind of a deer motor with the motor linkage to kind of make it where you can't really change that path of travel.
Yeah.
But either way, I think there's a way to resolve that and get a little better, more realistic results. Also, once you get to the front of it, you could tell that there was no real thickness in the animatronic's lap or legs. Yeah. So it looked like a really abnormally thin person. Completely took the realism out of it. But again, if you're walking behind it, it's not that difficult.
Right.
To kind of be put in that moment and think that it's a real person.
Yeah, it was, they had a lot of good ones.
Yes.
And they spent, I mean, I still think they had way too many animatronics.
Yes. They tried to fill the space for a 365
It was
year-round haunt.
basically a animatronic warehouse.
It was like a Spirit Halloween.
It was.
On steroids.
It was. And it was like, oh, that's cool, but like that's not scary to me.
Yeah.
So.
Anything you want to add other than way too many animatronics? I can't talk. All right. Category 6, audio. This one, just like effects, we each gave a 3 out of 5. Yeah? Mm-hmm. All right. To me, I enjoyed the audio. I felt like the volumes and the quality of it were really, really well done for each scene in each room. What I didn't like was that all of the pre-recorded audio, whether it be on the triggers or on the ambient audio, was it had a really low repeat time or a really low repetition kind of track. So we would hear it 2-3 times.
Yeah.
Just as we walked by.
I don't actually remember the audio.
What really annoyed me, and what I remember very distinctly in this one, was there was a really dark room where there was a whisper, and I even like tapped on your shoulder and tried to get you to slow down and listen to this whisper, because I said it sounds like a real person. They had it on the left side, they had it on the right side, and it would kind of pan back and forth. And I thought, that is really well done and unexpected. But then 3 seconds later, you could tell it was on the same loop. So the first 3 seconds, it was great. But then once it did the same thing, it was like, well, that kind of lost its magic. And then it did it again. Well, all right. Well, now I'm just disappointed because you had a lot of like authenticity behind it.
Right.
And then you just, all you had to do was put in like maybe 5-10 seconds of silence. And that could have fixed it. Super easy fix.
Yeah.
And just ruined it. So.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Wasn't a big fan of that. Anything you want to add to audio before we go into set design?
Nope. Let's move it along.
All right. So set design, I gave it a 3 out of 5. What about you?
I gave it a 4. I thought the set design was really, really well done, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, they did say it was like an escape thing, like find your way out, but it really wasn't.
No, there was only one way to go. There were no hidden...
Right, there weren't any hidden passageways. You didn't have to, whatever.
The only thing that felt hidden was when we got to the freezer panels.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it wasn't...
So, yeah, I did like the rooms, though. I thought they were really well done. I kind of relate it to 13th floor a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of looked, kind of like that. Some of the scenes were like swamp or whatever. That was kind of like the same. So, I mean, there's nothing like really, nothing that stood out to me.
Yeah, there wasn't anything
different.
That they did.
Right.
That
I feel like
apart.
they took out like, they took scenes from all these different haunted houses and then just mushed them together. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, they had a lot of recognizable things.
Yeah, they had a lot of name brand props.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if like they like took them and made them their own. Some of them.
Not that I could see.
No.
No. Maybe, but it didn't seem that way. So to me, the layout. Outside of the set design, but just kind of the walkthrough layout and paths, felt like they were right out of a Leonard Pickle book, which we talked about in HauntCon.
Maybe maybe it was.
It's very possible. Except they weren't all from the same Leonard Pickle designer book.
Yeah.
They just were like, yeah, I like the bathroom scene. Yeah, I like that kitchen scene. Ooh, that'd be really cool. Let's do a dark tunnel. Ooh, let's do a spinning vortex. That makes no difference to the story.
Yeah. That's strange.
They had a lot of stuff in face or SIF. They had freezer flaps you had to walk through. You had to walk through hanging corpses, which are fine. I get it.
I don't like overabundance of SIF because it just...
I'm annoyed when the SIF doesn't make sense.
Right. Like...
So, like, you wanted it in our home haunt.
I did.
In our way of balancing... having SIF because you wanted Sith, and making it inclusive to the part of the story was we put spiders in the scenes. Because what goes better with witches than spiders or cats or some sort of
So I wanted it
animal.
to feel like spider webs.
Right. So we did that. Just really simple fishing line.
Yeah, you want to make it fit to the theme. You don't want to just...
Don't give me freezer flaps in the middle of a forest.
Right.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
But that's what I feel like they did.
Yeah.
But like you said, their props were phenomenal. They were a lot of distortions, unlimited. I think a lot of other ones were gore galore. I'm not super familiar with
I don't know, but I like that name. Gore galore.
Gore galore, yeah. They do controllers as well. Could have been Purgatory props, could have been any of the name brands, but either way, they were name brand for the sheer size and quality of them.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Included in the set design, the drop panels, they were obviously there, but they were very obviously placed.
Yeah.
So, like, I wasn't shocked that they had drop panels in multiple places. What annoyed me was when I can look down this hallway of 4 picture frames, and one of these things is not like the other.
Right, you can definitely tell.
Really easy fix. Make them all look alike, and then add the mechanisms. You don't have to do the mechanisms, but you can cut out that area and make it look like it's a fake dropout panel. That's fine.
Right.
Like, you don't have any extra cost, but you make it a little more realistic to walk through, and you catch people off guard.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, what else you got for set design?
Nothing much.
All right. Next one, category number 8, customer service.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the customer service. They didn't really seem like they wanted us there.
No, they didn't. I feel like they were just annoyed.
I gave it a 2 out of 5.
I agree with that. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, from the moment we got tickets, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, I agree. So, what I remember from the ticket part was we went to the ticket booth, asked the lady, "Hey, can we get tickets to the Ripley's Haunted Adventure? Can we buy the tickets here? Where exactly is Ripley's Haunted Adventure? Is it just down there like we think it is?" "Yeah, you can buy the tickets here. It's really scary." Okay, well, don't threaten me with "it's really scary." Because I want to know in comparison to what.
She was like, "It's really scary." And I'm like, "Oh, it is?" And she's like...
she had no intonation behind her voice.
No.
So we asked. We were like, all right, well, in comparison to the next closest thing, have you ever been to Mysterious Mansion? I've heard of it. It's not far. It looks creepy. Okay, we're pulling teeth here, but have you ever been through it? No. Whew, okay, all right. But this one's really scary. All right, cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, based on that, I was already like, I don't
she could
trust
look
her
at
judgment.
us and really think that...
Right, when we went, we were the stereotypical, ghost adventures, dressed in all black. I didn't have punk pants on, I didn't have chains or anything, but...
No, but,
we have tattoos everywhere.
I have facial piercings.
You have facial piercings. We're not...
I'm not...
Haunted houses, if you had to put haunted house vibe in a person, I'd like to think that we exude that.
Yeah, so this old lady, she was like, "It's really scary.
Right.
Just be warned." And I'm like, really?
Cool
Nothing
story.
can really scare me, lady.
Nope.
Nothing except
trumps
maybe
real life.
Right, but except maybe a bear,
I'm still disappointed we haven't seen a bear.
I know, we haven't seen a bear.
Camped in Kentucky.
Yeah.
And
No
in our
bear.
car, and no bears.
We did see a bear at the zoo today, though.
We saw a polar bear.
We saw a grizzly bear, too.
We did. We saw 2.
He was
Were they
sleeping.
grizzly bears?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't know my different
I
bears.
think a black bear and a grizzly bear, and then a polar bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
we saw a bunch of bears. We also saw penguins.
Anyway, we could go on.
Yeah. Apparently, the St. Louis Zoo is free. You just have to pay to park. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool zoo. It's way better than our zoo.
I really wish Jacksonville would get on that free zoo pass. That'd be
But
cool.
yeah, because it's really not worth paying, what, $30 to get in?
I don't even know.
It's ridiculous.
Until we have kids, I don't want to go back.
Mm-mm.
Um, so the location of the attraction was not right next to the ticketing booth. We might have been able to buy tickets.
I think we could have, because
Okay.
it was like right there. Like there was a person
I
on the
wasn't
other
sure if
side.
there was anybody in that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think we just saw Ripley's and was like, all right, let's just purchase tickets here.
Probably. So my easy resolution to this, to kind of figure out how would you solve the things we didn't like, is just know your surrounding competition.
Mm-hmm.
Like, know who is in your area. Like, being a year-round haunt is kind of a special thing. If there's one in your town, you should probably know about it.
I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, though, because she wasn't at the ticket booth at Haunted Adventure. She was
Then
at
don't give me
Ripley's.
your opinion of the haunted attraction.
She was at Ripley's.
She was at like the main Ripley's ticket
one.
counter.
Yeah.
That's fine. If she would have ended the conversation with, hope you guys have fun, great. But she doubled down and she said, it's really scary. But with any, like, no real emotion behind her voice.
Yeah, no context.
So that annoyed me.
Oh my god.
But whatever.
That's funny.
Merchandise.
There was none, I don't think.
I didn't see any. I couldn't find any online. I gave it a 1 out of 5. You gave it a 1 out of 5. Again, 0. It's not a 0 to 5 rating system we've got. It's a 1 to 5, so we couldn't give it anything lower.
Yeah, no. Whatever.
I mean, shirts.
I wouldn't have bought one, though.
I wouldn't have bought a shirt. Stickers, not that expensive. I probably wouldn't have bought a sticker either, but
no,
it would have been cool that they would have been available.
And maybe they were. We just didn't find them.
Maybe they were in the main gift shop.
Yeah, probably.
Who knows?
They probably have
maybe they don't invest in any merchandise for that, since it's only at 4 different locations for Ripley's.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
and I don't know how many Ripley's locations they have, but I know it's more than 4.
Yeah.
St. Augustine has one, and all sorts of places.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that was really quick. So now we're on final thoughts.
Cool. My final thoughts were, you want to give the final rating?
So I gave my final thoughts category a 2 out of 5.
Okay, I got a 3 out of 5.
So overall, the final results averaged out. Mine came in at 2.2 out of 5. Yours came in at 2.4. Mm-hmm. So a little higher. I think I was more nitpicky about things, especially when it was pretty straightforward to figure out methods that they could have fixed the things that I didn't like, or the things that I felt like a majority would find fault with. But again, these are just our opinions. So feel free to completely leave them. Again, we don't have a commercial haunt, so we could talk a big game without putting money behind it. But
true,
we know our experiences, and we know what we enjoy, and that's what we can go off of.
Right.
Did you have a favorite actor? Out of the 2 or 3 to choose from?
I guess the one guy that said that Jesus wasn't there. I mean,
you didn't like him because he said that?
No.
It was just that
that's
back
really
and forth was comical.
I mean, that's really the only thing to choose from.
Yeah.
Because that was the only interaction I got, really.
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I felt like, he did spray people in one of the last scenes. That was cool.
Yeah, that was kind of gross.
Kind of unexpected.
No, it was like one of the first scenes.
Was it one of the first ones?
I don't even remember. Maybe in the middle.
I don't know. Who knows? What was your favorite moment or scene?
So I really enjoyed this, and because I was not expecting it.
I completely forgot about this until you wrote it down.
I don't want to spoil it if somebody's gonna go.
Okay.
So there is a surprise ending. I'll just say that.
Yes.
And it was really cool. So that was my favorite moment.
It reminded me of Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Mine was the Whispering in the Dark Tunnels. I really, really enjoyed that.
I don't remember them.
And that's all right. It was mostly audio based. And then the first time it happened was great. when it repeated, that's when I was like,
I would
whatever.
probably say the Vortex was another favorite.
Vortex was cool.
Because I love those. And that was really well done, actually.
It was a Vortex tunnel. It was, like, it wasn't anything over the top past the standard Vortex tunnel.
I just liked it. I got dizzy.
So, wrapping it up, what would we have changed, or what would have been cool to have seen? You can go first.
Obviously, I would have liked to have seen more live actors, but...
Sure, even in March.
Yeah, but I'm sure they'll have more during the actual... And we'll go back in October, so it's not like...
We will go back in an October.
Yeah, not this October, but in an October. So we'll see.
Yeah. For me, I would have obviously loved cohesive theming and story. If you can get that right, then I'm already all in. I would have loved a little more interaction with the entire group, not just the first two.
Yeah.
And the thing that really ticked me off, and that I would have loved for them to have done, is just turn on the larger animatronics. Like, not
maybe they
larger
were broken.
animatronics like $200-300. These are like $5,000 to $10,000 animatronics, like the huge, massive ones that only commercial haunts at that level can afford.
Right.
And I don't know if they weren't turned on. I don't know if they were on a really long cooldown period and they maybe were on for the first two people and we never got to experience them. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when they're on, those are incredible animatronics. So I don't know. That would have given a few more points back, but
yeah.
That's all we've got for Gatlinburg's Ripley's Haunted Adventure.
Yeah, go check them out. Even, I mean,
yeah,
I think it's still
our
it's
experience
still good. It's
yours.
not like it's like the worst haunted house we've ever been through.
That is true. That's very true.
Yeah, check them out. And if you haven't listened to our other ones, go back and listen to that one as well. And
yeah, go listen to why we enjoy doing this. Episode 1 is kind of an introduction, why we started doing haunts, what our first date was like, and how that kind of set the pace to being the horror couple that we've found ourselves to be in.
Yep, and we'll have more episodes coming out soon, so stay tuned.
Yep, we're going to talk about TransWorld.
Yep.
No idea how we're going to break that down or if we're going to do multiple episodes. We've got a lot of classes. I'm still not sure how many vendors we're going to be able to go see. The whole town, even at dinner, I would lose track if I tried to count black t-shirts.
Yeah.
Because it's just, that's the vibe. St. Louis is, it's TransWorld now. We're taking over.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.